A window on Bristol. We don't deal in weather forecasts. We prefer to look through our windows, not the ones on our screen, out at the real world, at the changing of seasons, at the change in our seasons. In an age of predictions, we don't deal in forecasts. We prefer to look through our windows and change expectations. In Bristol, this window is a smokescreen, because home is safety, and things like that don't happen in a place like this, where we have tea on our laps in front of the telly. But climate disasters feel realer when they happen nearer, when the news is touching distance and every channel is flashback to summer holidays and lathers of sunscreen. Before you knew, deck chairs could be life rafts and cars could be landslides. This is a window of opportunity, but don't you know paper straws can't contain all the hope of the future? When the overpromise of tote bags are overfilled like oil spills, responsibility is thrown to the crowd like lollipops, and burden is as fragmented as shards of microplastics. In Bristol, a teenager swipes away the open windows on his phone, pushing against tidal waves of 24/7 news. Tabs build like the pressure in his chest, like his voice trapped, drowned out by a commentator compartmentalising, until the black and white is so polarising and far away from anything anyone ever said. He needs one of those detective boards with a crisscrossing string just to make it make sense. But instead it plays out in a one-by-one square grid he can't grip. This is a window of opportunity. But don't you know, guilt is not our burden to shoulder. It doesn't serve to empower or raise us up at this important hour, because just transition is a complicated word for not leaving anyone behind. In Bristol, a seed is being planted by walkers with branches who lend voice to poplars, oaks, hawthorns. They give a eulogy for the silver birch tree. When the breeze of its leaves on a hot day disappear, in its place exhaust fumes leave the hot day hotter. It leaves the trace of that family, shadowed, huddled in its shadow, the ghost of its rough bark, triangular leaves, in its place is a car park. Across the city, there's a grandpa, whose words are like a window, growing into a forest, a canopy of green. Imagination is a city where everyone has a favourite tree. His is a cherry blossom, sitting on the grass. Opposite the red front door, it branches out to the past. Up the hill, there's a family whose view is unexpected, but circumstances changed and the future redirected. From what he's seen, it's clear nature needs to be protected. So he's training for a green job, and he'll never take it for granted. While the kids play hopscotch on traffic-free streets, she shares her mother's recipes, the start of lifelong friendships. This is the power of community connected. Down the road, this window has been fitted in the metal grooves of an old shipping container, a place where community is originality, creativity, and a helping hand. There's never been a more important time to look beyond our windows, because extreme weather hurts, whether or not we have them. And help cannot be reserved for some and not for others, because we are nothing without the sum of all our parts. In the centre, there's a girl in a ShamPhat. Her window's not a shield from an unforgiving world, one they claim might break her. It's a movie screen, and she's the main character. She organises internet marches. Her window is a rallying cry where she watches the ripples of the action she started. She lives on Crip time and knows its power to redefine our lives, to not chase for an invisible bridge to a brighter other side, or race against each other to a future beyond the horizon line. Because just transition is a complicated term for not leaving anyone behind. This is a window of opportunity. Because don't you know, community is people power, harnessing the wind, opening up the conversation and actively listening in. It's mugs of tea, meals for free, rewilding for the bees, planting in the streets, the group chat during the night feed, a text while the city sleeps, showing your friendly face, resisting the rat race, keeping pavements clear from waste, not having to compete for space, watching young woodland grow. Community is all of us owned. And just transition is a complicated term for not leaving anyone behind. In Bristol, this window is a portal to a future, for a world that makes sense, where everyone looks out for each other. This window is a portal to the future, where care and time are taken, and community is fostered, and just transition is a complicated term for not leaving anyone behind. It's 2030, and I'm looking through a window. You're beside me, and you're there too. But what are we looking at? That's for us all to decide. Collectively, we'll determine the view.